Well, I'm out on the lake to take some field recordings of unicorn sounds. I have chosen an ungodly time. It's late at night. It's freezing. It's below freezing out here. The lake is actually frozen. I have broken enough ice to get the canoe out. You may hear some crackling of the ice as we cut through it. Now, I've chosen this night and these circumstances for several reasons. Number one, the frozen lake is interesting because you might have heard that sound travels well underwater. I have found that sound travels even better over ice. Also, the darkness is important because, well, again, for several reasons. For one thing, if you can't see a unicorn can't see you and therefore won't be afraid. Also, we rely too much on our vision. If we take opportunities such as total darkness to exercise our sense of hearing, then we're guaranteed not to overlook what we might normally overlook. Now, I've set the scene in a lot of different ways. I don't know if you can tell. If you happen to notice like a little green dot appear, that's because on the shoreline, I set up a laser star projector to simulate the activity of fairies. I've also sort of set my own mood by wearing a Disneyland sweatshirt. And in terms of lighting, I strongly recommend something that is very natural that won't scare a unicorn off, such as what I've brought here, which is firefly lanterns. Now, my biggest secret weapon tonight is actually an aroma. It's developed by a perfumer in New York named Christopher Brosius, and it's called Walking in the Air. What he did was to capture the scent of freshly fallen snow in a bottle. It's the most astonishing scent I've ever smelled, and I'm hoping that it will lure a unicorn to the environment of fresh snowfall, which they love because they love to munch on fresh crocus bulbs that are blooming. Now, wintry nights are especially good for listening for unicorns because, interestingly, a typical unicorn sound sounds like the falling of snow. And really that shouldn't come as any surprise because, unicorns and snowflakes are actually very alike in that no two of them are alike. They're both sparkly white in color. They're symbols of purity and innocence and serenity. They're both excellent insulators. So, I'm listening very carefully for the subtlest sounds that might just come over this very light but ultra cold breeze. I could swear I just heard a very suspicious rustling on the lake shore. I don't believe it was a Canadian goose. It's too early to tell, though. I'm often asked why I take such extraordinary measures to conduct my field research, and the answer is simple, really. If you desire an extraordinary experience, you have to take extraordinary measures. And speaking of extraordinary measures, the lake is refreezing around the canoe. I am a little bit concerned that I might get trapped out here in the ice. I think what I'm going to do is set my binaural audio recorder near a bed of blooming crocus bulbs, and we'll see if we don't catch a unicorn doing some nibbling tonight. Well, thanks for joining me, and we'll try this again.